Indexing. What is it, and why would someone want to index records? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been microfilming records for many years. In recent years, they have been able to put these records online for people to search. An index of the names on the records makes it easier to find your relatives. This presentation will show you how to help index these records, these online records. Once a record group has an index completed, the Family Search computer will then try to match up the information with the names in the Family Search database. When it finds information that appears to match a person, it will post a blue record hint icon on the right side of the person page under the Research Helps. A person will then look at the record and decide if it is a match. If it is a match, they will attach the record, which will then be placed in the Sources file. We see here that the 1850 census record was attached for Stephen Hargis. He was 11 years old in the census. Some records can be viewed, while other records, because of legal issues, cannot, but only the indexed information can be viewed. One of the biggest issues with indexing is being able to read the handwriting. Some records were typed and thus are much easier to read. Each person has different handwriting. Often it is a good idea to try and stick to one batch of records, as you will become familiar with the handwriting of the author of the record. Another issue is the abbreviations used, especially for names. Often one can guess the name from the abbreviation. See the Indexing Project instructions to know if you should spell the name the same way that it was written, or if you should spell the name out. The first time you start a new batch of a different record type, it's a good idea to read through the instructions. You can always refer back to them while indexing if another question comes up. Today I'm going to show you how to do indexing and some of the tips to make it a little bit easier. First thing is on Family Search, you will go up here to indexing and go to web indexing. That's where I'm actually at, but it will bring you to this and it will say find a batch. And you can click on here and you have a choice here. You can view all of them and it will list all of the different batches that you want. And then you can choose beginning, intermediate, or advanced. So if you choose beginning, these are right here, you'll see it says beginning. If you click that off, then you can see it tells you intermediate, beginning. So actually today is a good day. Sometimes it's hard to find those beginning ones. And you can look at it and see. Most of you will have just index. After you've indexed 1,000 records, then you'll be able to review records. And then you're just looking at records that somebody else has indexed. Every batch is indexed by 2 people. And then one person reviews the 2 to make sure that the information is correct. You can change the language here. I keep it on English for me. And then this favorites, if you have a batch that you really like, and I happen to be doing some Indiana records, then you click on this and it will make it one of your favorites. So let's go over here to favorites and you can see that I have that. So I don't have to go hunting for it each time. It just comes up each time. And I am going to go ahead and click, and you can do up to 10 favorites on this to have 10 of them saved. And then you can work on them offline. If you happen to be going somewhere where you don't have internet, you can work on them offline and then you can upload them when you have internet again. So let me go to index. Okay, now that we're in this Indiana marriage record, this batch, I have already indexed this first page, but I want to show you a few things before I show you how to actually enter the fields. So the very first thing is you want to look at this, and it's hard to read, so you can increase the size so that it's easier to read. And you want to look at it, and you can see that there's 2 pages. There's this marriage and a marriage over here. And that's important, and I'll show you in a little bit why that is. So once we get it pretty much to the size, and that's a little bit easier for me, I'm going to look at it, and there's my 2 names, the male and the female, the bride and the groom. And then we have male and female here. So we look at that. Now we've got these fields over here, and over here you have what you call data entry. And you can click on this and change the format of this. If you'd rather have a table format, it comes up here, and then you can just go across this way, filling in the information. So check that out and see which way that you like. Also, you can add a ruler, and this makes it, you can just move this down so you can kind of tell where you're at. It'll help you. So I'm going to change it back to this form entry. That's what I prefer, and you can make this smaller if you like, so you have a little bit more room here. Okay, so on here it says page number. So we look up here, there's a page number right there, 516. Record number. Usually there's a longer number somewhere on a record. Sometimes it's just stamped on there. If they have it, you would put it in. Otherwise, you put in Control B for blank, or mark this field blank. You can use this up here, either one of those. And then I've put in his name, Gerald F. Albright. And Gerald F. and Albright. And then her name is Anna Catherine, and you'll put the first name and the middle name there, and then the last name there. And then it asks the marriage month. Well, that is not up here at the beginning of this. That is down here is where you're going to find that information. And so this is where I wanted to show you the information that actually comes next. You look at it, the names, and this says where born. Well, if we come down here, it says groom's birth month, birthday, and birth year. So we can take this and move it up. So there's Catherine, okay. I can get both of those, and then I've got the birth month of the groom. I wish there was a way to grab 3 of them or a group of them, but I don't know how to do that. And so now we have the birth month and the birthday, and we see that the month does come first and then the day, and then the year. Let's see, groom's birth year. Okay. So I'm not going to go ahead and fix everything up. I just wanted to show you that you can grab these and move them in the order. And so I will change that later as I index the rest of them. So I can go down, and then I can do it in the order of the way that it's done on the form that you have in front of you. Okay, and some of the things here, if you have mark it blank, or mark the entry blank. So maybe everything is blank on that page. You have a name or something. You can mark everything blank on there and then go in and fill in the 2 or 3 fields that you actually have. If there's a mark field unreadable, so you can tell that part of it's there, but you cannot read it. So you're going to mark it unreadable. It's not blank. They actually put something in. And this would be that you cannot read the whole entry. So maybe on his side, or on this whole marriage record, you wouldn't be able to see it. You could mark the whole thing unreadable. Sometimes you need to add an entry. Now, I'm going to show you right now, we do need to add, we have this one, but we do not have a form entry for this page here. We have 1 of 3, and we can see there's 3 down here. 1, 2, 3. But this one actually has 2 different forms. So we're going to add an entry, and we're going to add it after the last entry. So now I have a second one. So I can go here, and then this was page 517. So I put in 517. And then again, no record number, so I do Control B. And then I would go ahead and fill this in. Ralph Dunley. That actually looks like Davy, D-A-V-Y, AVY is what it looks like. And then Mildred Lawrence. Okay. I want to go back to this first field, and I want to show you if something happens to be the same, like the marriage place. Actually, these are, I'm going to go down here to the county, if I can find it. It's farther down here. It actually should be Madison. Well, this is the same. This is all for Madison County, and that happens to be right here. It says Madison County. Well, if you have fields that are exactly the same all the way through your documents, you can mark this right here. It says copy text to the selected fields following. So I do that. Now let's go over here. We go down and we're going to see that it filled that in for us. Now if I hadn't done that and I was here but I knew that I had typed it in on the previous one, you can just click here and it will take it. Let's see where it is. Licensed county. And we click there and it will put that county in there for you. Okay, and then if you have a field, one of these that you don't need, you messed it up, or there's just extra ones, especially at the end, let's go ahead and put in an extra one. And I'm going to say afterwards. So that would be the third. So I get here and I go, oh, I don't need that one. Then you can mark the current entry blank, or if you have 5 or 6 that are blank, they gave you, let's say they gave you 20 fields and you only have 16 to fill out. Then you could say all blanks that are all blank entries. So if you use that tool that I just told you where you filled in like Madison, it's not going to get rid of the fields because you have something put in there. But this time I'm just going to delete the one entry, and so now I have 2 entries. And then if you want to jump to this one, now this one is not going to record what we did. Let's see, there's the county, licensed county. See if I try this, it doesn't do it because that was a different page. So I have to type that one in. And then again, see, I don't have a page 2 on this one, so I have to create a page 2, create it after the last entry. And then I can do this where I now have created it on this page where it gives you Madison County. Okay, there's a few other things up here. This says copy text from previous entry into selected entry. And then this one here is handwritten examples. So let's click this. So if there's something you cannot read, you're not sure what it is, you can look at this and see if one of the letters matches something up here. It might be helpful. This is you're going to encounter some of these letters in the different scripts. Okay, and then this one is share batch. And I want to click on this. And see, you can take this and email it to somebody, and then they can look at the batch. Or if you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can give them this code, and then they can type that in for the batch. And then they can look at it and help you try to decipher one of those. And these are international letters, so if you need to type in something, they've put one of these international letters in there, you can use that. And then this is project instructions. So let's say you have a question and you're not sure about the project. You can click on that and it will give you some instructions on the project. Now also you'll notice these little question marks. You can click on that and it will give you information about that field on the page number. Anyways, I think that covers most everything. Up here is the help button and the batch. So check some of those out, and I'm hoping that that will help you feel more comfortable in indexing. Thank you for watching. In the video, it mentions that 2 people index a record. This has actually changed. One person now indexes a record. Then someone reviews it. If the reviewer makes less than 20% changes to the record, then the batch is accepted and is ready to be added to Family Search. If there are more than 20% changes, it will be put back into the review pile again. The process continues until there are less than 20% changes. The best way to begin indexing is to work with someone else who is indexed. Do 1 or 2 batches with this other person and then try to see if you can do it by yourself. Remember, there is batch sharing so that someone else can see the batch on their computer and help you if needed. Remember that you are not the only one indexing these records, so if you make a mistake, it will likely be corrected. Go ahead and give it a try.